So how you been, brother?
Good. Just checking the light here. That's probably the best light there.
All right.
My little toys that I have for videos. So,
Same here. Got
is
it
there a
all
way
set up
to,
here.
to see if anybody's even watching?
No, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to record this and then I'm going to upload it up onto YouTube.
Oh, so it's not live.
Nope. This
Oh,
is well. I'm just recording it right now,
right. Okay. So,
and then
I'm
I'll
saying hi to,
we'll edit it up and shoot it up to the cloud there.
well, I saw that on your post there. There's some people I know that like this idea.
Oh, I've been getting a lot of people texting me and just saying how excited they are and everything like that. So, you
Good.
know, real quick, I guess I'll start it off and I'll just do an intro on myself and I'll introduce you and you give your critiques or I mean your accolades and all that stuff like that and everything you've done.
Oh,
And
sure.
then
Okay.
does that sound cool?
Yeah.
All right. Welcome everybody. My name is Chad West, and I have the great privilege of being able to have one of my dear friends, Michael Gardner, here with me. I'm so excited. I myself, I have been a life coach for about 30 years. I am a certified master life coach and a hypnotherapist. And Michael has been one of my coaches and mentors, and I'm really excited. This is our first recording of the Magic Mentors. And I know we're gonna talk about this later and stuff, but Michael, I so much appreciate you being here. Please tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Okay. In 1991, after years of driving to and from work in LA at a corporation, I was thinking there's got to be more to life than this. I had a good job, but it wasn't really what I wanted to do. So in 1991, I packed up and moved to Utah to be a trainer, coach for a personal development company. And it's been an up and down thing, but I haven't looked back since then. I've trained tens of thousands of people. And one thing I've realized over the years that we all have dreams, we all have ambitions, we all have life's pain, out of which we develop a lot of beliefs about ourselves that get in our way. But underneath it all, we all bleed red, and each of us, each life matters. Black, white, brown, red, blue, alien from another planet. Each life,
Every person matters.
yes.
That,
So,
absolutely.
so yeah, I guess a cow only matters as far as how good it tastes. But no, they're part of the grand scheme of things. But no, as human beings, underneath it all, we're all the same.
So, what is it that you like about being a life coach?
There's a lot of things. I mean, I can say a lot of things. I love seeing people break through where they realize something that is a limitation in their life and they see how it affects them and they take it on to break through that. Not meaning that that belief goes away, but they give themselves life experiences where they'll have options to say, well, I can believe this part of me that says, because this happened, I suck. Or I can believe this part of me that I experienced where it says, wow, I'm more magnificent than I realized. And maybe there's even more to me than that. So that's one of the biggest things is when people break through. Um, that is probably the biggest thing and the most gratifying thing is to watch people find that joy and even peace, knowing that life is not against them. They don't have to choose to be a victim of anything,
Absolutely.
including their beliefs. They have choices. So, I could go on, but how long do we want to talk here before we lose people?
I should probably set a timer on this and stuff so that, we hit around the 15-20 minute mark on there and everything. So,
Yeah,
you know,
well, I'm watching the clock.
all right. Well, we were talking about names and stuff, and I absolutely love the name, the Magic Mentors, crew. I love that. I think it's awesome. And we were talking about the difference between a mentor and a coach.
Hmm.
But magic coaches just doesn't sound the same.
Never.
Doesn't flow the
Well,
same.
no, you're right. But
So, what is a coach?
well, I'm going to tell. There's a lot of variations of coach. You have your coaching experiences. To me, what makes coaching alive for me, and passion is I'm not telling people how to live their lives. It's challenging enough to live my own life and to take on my own issues and challenges. But what a coach is an advocate, not a cheerleader, but an advocate for people to support them and recognizing greater and greater elements of their magnificence step by step along the way. A coach is someone who can see someone's life objectively, more neutrally. Of course, we're not totally objective because we have our own life experiences that we bring into it. But I'm going to be more objective about your life than you are because you are biased and I am biased about my life. And so I want to make the best of how I portray myself, even to what I would call my faults. I've heard people say, well, yeah, I have faults, but at least I admit it. So let me put this in the best light. So what if you admit it? It doesn't mean anything. What are you doing with those, what you call faults? I don't see them as faults, but they're beliefs about you. It's like, okay, you admit that you have them, but what are you doing with it? What are you allowing them to run you? Are you looking for other possibilities to say that maybe those beliefs are not true? So a coach assists somebody to see that and to see the possibilities if they were to set aside those beliefs of what is possible to a greater and greater degree. And a coach challenges people out of their comfort zone. We all have a comfort zone. And I don't care who we are. We all have an edge of our comfort zone that on our own, we're not going to go through. We're just not going to go through because we're going to come up with all kinds of reasons and stories. Excuse me.
No worries.
Reasons and stories why we would justify not going through it. Everybody, I don't care who they are. I don't care if it's the President of the United States. I don't care if it's, some of these people that you see that have written books and things like that. Everybody has a degree of comfort that they're on their own not going to go through. So a coach doesn't have to have gone through that. I've coached thousands of people who have done things I've never done. I don't have to know how to do them. My job is to simply coach them and challenge them to see where
break them out of their own comfort zone and stuff.
However huge that may be, and it's not, when I say huge, if somebody has a fear of going out of the house is huge to them, huge. So to say, well, my comfort zone isn't as big as yours, that's not true. Everybody to whatever degree, their comfort zone has a limit and they're afraid to go out of it. So to say, well, let's say one of the more famous people that does seminars on that, I think, wow, their comfort zone must be, they speak before thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands, their comfort zone must be huge. It's no more huge than yours or mine. Because to us, our comfort zone is whatever it is, and going outside of it is the scariest thing we'd ever encounter. So
I know one of the things I love about you being one of my coaches personally and stuff is I love how you're always giving me different views of looking at things and allowing me to look at things differently. Where, like you said, seeing that outside objective part, it makes such a huge difference. It's like even like NBA, players and stuff, they have coaches, all professional athletes have coaches. Why? Because they can see things that we ourselves don't see and they could be that person. I don't know any coaches that are all like, all right, good job, Michael, keep going. You need to do a better job. They're going to be like, stuff. But I'm not saying that we always do that, but it's fun to do sometimes, that's for sure. But I absolutely love it.
For example, neutrality. If you went and challenged a Bill Gates to create $1 million in a day, to him it's lunch money. If you challenged somebody who is middle class and works a job to create $1 million a day, that's huge. But here's the deal. It's $1 million either way, but it's their perception that says it's a lot or little. Same thing if that person that's middle class, you gave them, okay, $1 million isn't as much anymore, $10 million. They're like, wow, and that's all you have for the rest of your life. They're set. Do that with Bill Gates. You got $10 million to live on the rest of your life. From his perspective, that's not a lot of money, but either way, it's $1 million or $10 million. So a coach just sees it for it's $10 million. It's not a lot, it's not a little, it's $10 million. A coach sees someone's life experience as not tragic or bad or good. They're just life experiences, and then assist the person to realize what they can learn from it.
Absolutely. In fact, that's one of the things I love most about being a coach is I never give my cheap advice, because like who am I to tell someone else how to live their life, right? But asking the right questions and allowing them to figure it out, sometimes we, like you said, we play a different part, allowing them to see things a little bit different. Out of all the people that I have ever met, coached, done magic shows for, hypnotism shows, whatever, every person I've ever met, they all want at least the same three things. They all want to be loved, they all want to be understood, and they all want to be accepted. These are like three natural human characteristics that kind of drive a lot of people. And yeah, it's amazing. And it's like, I can't tell you how many people are just like, oh, you'll never understand me. It's like, that kind of cracks me up there. But no, I absolutely love it there. Please, anything else that you'd like to share with this?
Well, that's a simple solution, believe it or not, to the world's problems. If we would just see each other for who we are, um, and see ourselves for who we are, all this stuff that's going on in the world would go away. The people that are out there rioting and looting, what do they want? They want to be loved. They want to be accepted.
Absolutely.
Connect with people. Now, if we don't think we can get it, we go the other way and go to drastic measures. I mean, we do it, and it's like that's an easy example. But you look in a relationship, a husband and wife or partners. If one feels like they're not getting attention, what do? They a lot of times do things to push the other away, playing a come and get me game. I'm going to push you away and see if you really care. But the things they're doing, the other person's like, well, I don't want to be around you.
No kidding, yeah.
But
it's a simple misunderstanding there.
Well, it's a lose-lose situation. It's
Yeah.
a situation where they make assumptions and they make up stories. Well, okay, so-and-so came home and they didn't kiss me as long as they usually do. They must not love me anymore. And it maybe has nothing to do with that. I mean, let's face it, after a time, you probably don't kiss each other as much as you did. Not because you take each other for granted, it could be that, but just because the relationship is much deeper than that at times, where that's nice and it's good, but it's not the foundation of the relationship. Or let's say, somebody does the dishes for their at night, and they think, oh, I'm doing something because this is what my father did for my mother, and the other person doesn't say anything about it, and they get offended because, well, I did this to show you I love you. Well, if I have to say that, then I didn't do it to show you I love you. I did it for validation. And so, that's when we feel like we're not getting loved. But love is not something you do, it's something you be. And so if that's present in a relationship, you do things, of course, you naturally do things, but not to get validation, but you just do them because you love the other person, not so that they'll say, oh, thank you, you did that. Because really, whose job is it to do the dishes anymore?
Ours, yeah.
I mean, when I grew up, it was our kid, us kids.
But it's my daughter's until she's 18 and gets out of the house.
Yeah.
Then I'm stuck with it.
So the looting and rioting and all the consternation going on back and forth out in our society, divisiveness, is basically people saying, I don't feel acknowledged.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that I get when people are not being understood or being sensitive and taking something the wrong way. Like, for example, the other day, I think it was a couple weeks ago, I said something and my wife instantly is just like, what? And she gets all kind of getting all defensive and mad and stuff. And I was like, whoa, hold on a second. How'd you take that? She goes, well, I took it like this. And I kind of smiled. She goes, well, how are you meaning it? And I was like, I'm glad I asked, because this was the way I was meaning it. And she goes, oh, well, I'm glad we talked about that. And it solves so many arguments, with husbands and wives, with any couples, because what is it that people are truly wanting? They want to be loved, understood, accepted, and one thing I've learned in relationships, all relationships are different and stuff, but it's always, what we want and all this stuff. Instead of it's, I always say it's not mine, it's not hers, it's ours. I heard a wonderful pastor once say, a minister there, he was starting off, he was talking to this young couple, and he goes to the guy and he says, now listen, you might squeeze your toothpaste in the middle and she might roll it up from the end. Don't get mad over little things like that. Just be glad she's brushing her teeth.
Here's one thing I know about people, including myself. Everything we do in our own self-interest. We're in a relationship because we want something. But somewhere we either realize that doesn't come by being self-absorbed and doing only things for me, being narcissistic. It comes by giving in the relationship, trusting that it's going to come back to me in greater synergy than what I gave out. And it may not come back from the person I'm giving it to. So if I give somebody $5, karma says I'll get back, but it may not come from that person. But we get mad sometimes because we do the giving conditionally. I did this for you, now you owe me. Well, that causes the payoff is small on that one, if anything, because what it causes distance and people just wanting to be away from each other more. I mean, I don't mean they want to run out of the room, but it's like, have you ever had somebody say they want to do something for you and you're like, no, because there's a string attached or a hook in it. But we do it in our self-interest. But if we realize that if we want the greater benefit of it, it means giving from within to give out, and then more comes back to us. And we do it for our own self-interest, and that's okay, because I think there's a divine plan that basically said everything you do according to this, you get a blessing. Well, that's because that's a universal law. So it's okay, when we're in a relationship out of self-interest. I love somebody, I love the gratification, love the connection, I love the intimacy, I love this, I love that, I love this, I love that about the relationship. It's not a selfless situation, because if it's selfless, I'm not in it. Anyway,
that's awesome. That's awesome. You know what? I tell you what. I know we could both go forever on this thing and stuff. Let's end this one on. We'll wrap it up. We'll end this one, and then we can hit record and do another one if you like.
Sure.
Awesome. All right. How would you like to wrap this up then? All right. See ya.
You know what? We're not, it says magic mentors. We're not really, it's like magic isn't magic. It's illusion, and it deals a lot. You've told me this. Oh, with people's perception of what they think they're supposed to see. And magic takes advantage of that. Coaching isn't really magic. It's not even an illusion, but it is dealing with the illusions we create when, let's say, Daddy didn't come home and play baseball with me, therefore Daddy didn't love me. That's an illusion. I made that up. It maybe had nothing to do with Daddy. Maybe Daddy had some issues feeling like he wasn't a good enough father, so he found ways to avoid, we could go into all that stuff. So coaching assists in bringing all that to light so someone can see it for what it is and realize the illusion versus a greater discovery of what is true.
Awesome.
So
I appreciate you, brother. This is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be able to cover a lot of different subjects on this. And thanks for joining us. And we will do this again.
Back to me. Do I hang up or?
No, actually.
Are we recording another one right now after this?
Yeah, right now. Here, hold on. Just so I know where the blank spot is in this thing. Let me just do this.